The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Proverbs 1:7. Long ago, there was a king named Solomon. People said he was very wise. One day, two women came to him with a big problem. They were both holding the same baby, and each woman said, "This baby is mine." The king listened quietly. The women were upset. They were talking loudly and pointing fingers at each other. Each one was sure she was right, but the king did not shout. He did not rush. He just watched and listened. Then the king said something surprising. He told his helpers, "Bring me a sword." The room became very quiet. The king said, "If both of you say the baby is yours, then he will cut the baby in half. Each of you can have a part." One woman said, "Fine, that sounds fair." But the other woman gasped and cried, "No, please don't hurt the baby. Let her have him. Just let him live." The king stood up and pointed to the woman who begged for the baby's life. "She is the real mother," he said. "A true mother would never give up her child and see him harmed." Everyone in the room understood something important that day. The king did not find the truth by shouting. He found it by watching how people acted when things became hard. And that is what wisdom looks like. It stays calm. It waits. It sees what pressure reveals. Sometimes the truth shows itself when we are willing to pause and look carefully. What makes the story so powerful is that Solomon did not allow the chaos of the moment to dictate his response. Two women were arguing loudly. Emotions were high and a child's life was at stake. Yet he did not mirror their intensity. He did not rush to soothe feelings or react to volume. He listened. That alone was wisdom. Most leaders and most traders get pulled into their emotional current of the room. Solomon stayed anchored. He understood that clarity cannot be found inside panic. His calm was not passivity, it was control. He also showed wisdom by recognizing that truth reveals itself under pressure. Instead of guessing who was lying, he created a scenario that forced authenticity to surface. The sword was never about harming the child. It was about revealing the heart. Solomon knew that real love would sacrifice pride, and that kind of psychological insight is profound. He understood human nature deeply enough to design a test that separated ego from devotion. Wisdom in this case was strategic. It did not argue with emotion, it exposed it. Another layer of wisdom appears in his ability to think long-term instead of reacting to the immediate moment. Cutting the baby was never his true intention. Preserving life, however, was. Solomon's shocking statement created a decisive turning point that protected what mattered most. He saw beyond the noise to the outcome he wanted: justice and preservation. That is mature thinking. Wisdom doesn't get trapped in what looks dramatic on the surface. It works backward from what must be protected. Finally, Solomon demonstrated humility in his leadership. He did not center himself in the decision. He did not seek applause. He simply rendered judgment based on what was revealed. The story shows that wisdom is not loud. It's not flashy or emotional. It is steady, observant, and decisive once truth becomes clear. He trusted the process he designed, and when the evidence surfaced, he acted without hesitation. That is wisdom in motion. Calm under pressure, strategic in approach, protective of what matters, and courageous enough to act when clarity arrives. And if that is what wisdom looks like, calm, patient, observant under pressure, then we have to admit how rarely we operate that way when money is on the line. Because in trading, pressure doesn't just reveal truth about the market, it reveals truth about us. It exposes our fear of being wrong, our urgency to recover, our need to prove something. The candle moves and suddenly we are no longer careful. We are reactive, no longer observing. We are defending. That is why wisdom over emotion is not just a spiritual idea. It is a trading necessity. It is the decision to pause when everything in you wants to act, to think when your body wants to flinch, and to let clarity lead when emotion is screaming for control. You see, trading is not just numbers on a screen. It is a direct conversation with your nervous system. Money symbolizes safety, identity, freedom, and sometimes even self-worth. So every tick up or down can feel deeply personal. When price moves against you, your brain does not calmly interpret it as a neutral data. It often reads it as a threat. Your heart rate increases, your breathing shifts, urgency takes over. And in that moment, reacting feels logical, justified, even necessary. But here's the deeper truth. You were wired for survival in the wilderness, not for patience in front of a chart. Your threat response system is ancient. The market, however, is modern. Emotion feels true in the moment, even when it is misleading you. That is why wisdom cannot simply sit inside instinct. It must lead it. Before entering a trade, pause long enough to name your internal state. Are you calm, rushed, excited, anxious? If you are not neutral, you are not objective. Wisdom does not eliminate emotion. It simply refuses to let emotion drive the decision. But then patience becomes a weapon, but it rarely feels that way. Waiting can feel like falling behind. Screens are flashing, social media feeds are celebrating wins, and somewhere, someone appears to be profiting right now. In that environment, stillness feels like chaos. Many traders confuse patience with passivity, so they click simply to feel involved. But psychologically, your brain dislikes uncertainty and craves stimulation. From an evolutionary perspective, stillness once meant vulnerability. Movement meant survival. So waiting in front of a chart can feel unsafe, even when it is the smartest move available. Boredom quietly becomes expensive. To counter this, patience must become structural, not emotion. Decide before the session begins how many qualified setups you are allowed to take. When the setup is reached, you are finished. No negotiation. Patience stops being a personality trait and becomes a rule that protects your capital. Discipline follows, and discipline often feels restrictive, especially if you are intelligent and intuitive. You see, rules can feel confining when you believe you see nuances others miss. That is when traders begin bending stop losses, skipping journal entries, or improvising mid-trade. Beneath the surface, the brain craves novelty and autonomy. Discipline threatens both. Brilliance delivers immediate satisfaction. Discipline pays quietly over time. Evolution favors short-term rewards, even when long-term consequences are costly. That is why discipline must be engineered into your process. Predefined stops, preset position sizes, keep written rules visible. Remove as much real-time decision-making as possible. Discipline works best when it reduces choice, not when it relies on willpower. Knowledge, meanwhile, compounds, but it does so quietly. Study feels slow compared to the rush of a live trade. Learning does not release dopamine the way a winning candle does, so reflection often gets postponed. After losses especially, traders want relief, not review. Yet humans are wired with an action bias. We feel productive when we are doing, not when we are analyzing. Movement once meant survival. Reflection did not. That is why you repeat the same mistakes confidently. A simple daily ritual can change this trajectory after the session ends. Ask yourself a question. What did today teach me about myself? Not about the market, about you. Self-awareness compounds faster than strategy adjustments ever will. Guarding your mind becomes critical because your thoughts feel harmless until they're not. One losing trade morphs into self-criticism. Self-criticism becomes urgency. Urgency becomes revenge trading. The spiral is subtle and fast. The mind seeks coherence. When pain occurs, it creates a narrative to explain it. And those narratives also include blame, distorted certainty, or a demand to fix it now. Storytelling once helped humans survive, but in trading, it can manufacture chaos. When you feel the urge to make it back, step away and write the urge exactly as it appears in your mind. Seeing it on paper creates space between you and the impulse. You cannot manage what you refuse to observe. Long-term vision challenges another powerful instinct. Short-term wins feel tangible and satisfying immediately. However, long-term discipline feels abstract. So when money is involved, the brain often prioritizes immediate emotional relief over sustained stability. Scarcity conditioning plays a role here. Historically, resources were uncertain, so taking what was available made sense. In modern markets, however, that instinct can push you to over-risk precisely when preservation is needed. So reframe success. Measure is not in daily profit and loss, but in months of survival. So ask yourself at the end of each session, did my decisions today increase my longevity in the game? Longevity, not excitement, is the edge most people fail to cultivate. Finally, humility anchors everything. Admitting you are wrong can feel like a threat to identity. Losses can feel like personal failures rather than statistical events. Cutting a trade may feel like self-betrayal instead of sound management. Ego exists to protect you, but historically, status and competence affected survival, so being wrong felt dangerous. In trading, however, the ancient wiring appears as arguing with the market and holding losers too long. The transformation begins with reframing. A loss is not a verdict, it is tuition. Say it plainly, the market just taught me something. Humility is not weakness, it is adaptive intelligence. And adaptive intelligence is what allows traders not to just survive, but to evolve. Pressure does not create your character, it reveals it. Every time you sit in front of a chart, you are not just analyzing price action, you are confronting your own impulses, your fears, and your desires. The market has a way of exposing impatience you didn't know you carried and ego you thought you had mastered. That exposure is not punishment. It is, however, opportunity. It is an invitation to grow into a steadier, wiser version of yourself. Most traders believe their breakthrough will come from the next indicator, the next strategy, the next secret. But transformation rarely begins with tools. It begins with alignment. When your internal world is chaotic, your execution will also be chaotic. When your thinking is anchored, your decisions become cleaner. Growth in trading mirrors growth in life. You cannot outperform the person you are unwilling to become. There's something sacred about learning to pause. In a world that celebrates speed, the trader who learns to wait is countercultural. Patience feels unnatural at first, but it builds strength quietly. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, you are training your mind to trust wisdom over urgency. That training compounds, not just in your account, but in your character. Losses, when handled properly, become teachers rather than tormentors. They strip away illusion and force you to confront truth. The question is not whether you will face loss, because you will. The question is who you will become because of it. Traders who allow loss to refine them develop resilience that cannot be shaken by a red candle. They learn that being wrong is not failure. It is, however, feedback. So humility changes everything. The market does not bend to personality, background, or past success. It responds to structure, discipline, and consistency. When you release the need to prove yourself and instead commit to protecting what you've been given, your relationship with trading shifts. You stop chasing validation and start stewarding opportunity. And stewardship is the key. The money in your account is not just numbers, it represents time, effort, sacrifice, and possibility. Treating it with wisdom transforms trading from gambling into responsibility. And when you see yourself not as someone trying to win, but as someone entrusted with growth, your decisions mature. You begin to move differently. You begin to think differently. So here's the deeper invitation. You were never meant to navigate pressure alone. True wisdom does not originate in charts. It flows from a higher source. So if you want calm under volatility, clarity under stress, and discipline that holds when emotion rises, allow God into your trading journey. Join us in Bible study, where we align faith with finance, wisdom with execution, and purpose with profit. Let's build not just better traders, but wiser, anchored leaders together. I'll see you on the inside. You've got this. Peace and blessings, Dr.